Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
Welcome one and all to Dice Company, where a group of old friends weave tales of triumph, heroism and despair under the guise of playing Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Tom, and I'll be your DM through the continuing adventures of this expanded party of oath-taking, clone-making, ego-breaking, shake-and-baking, cheroot-partaking, dungeon-escaping fakers. Oath-taking, clone-making, ego-breaking, shake-and-baking, cheroot-partaking, dungeon-escaping fakers, please introduce yourselves and tell the audience one fun fact about your characters.
Wow.
Oh, so good.
That was amazing.
That was so good.
Hello, I am Dave, and I am playing Benny Quez. One fun fact about Benny Quez is, so he's now been away from his hometown of Middleton for maybe about 3 months since he set off. And in that time, he has not had a haircut. The reason being that the only person he trusted to get that near to his head with a sharp blade was his old friend Boffo from his previous gang. And so now he is unable to get a haircut and it's starting to bother him.
Well, Boffo's going on the list of characters who are going to make a surprise appearance, I can tell you that much.
Just coming in for a haircut.
This is why no one can see his scar, because the hair's always over it.
Exactly, yeah. I just haven't noticed.
I want to see Tock cut the hair and then have to do like a strength check to see if he pulls Benny's head off. The hair has been cut.
The simplest way seems to be to attach glue and then rip it off.
And also, with the way it works with hairdressers, like, as much of a massacre as he makes of it, at the end, Benny's got to go, I find that acceptable.
They show you a little mirror of the back and you just go, yeah, great. Yeah, thank you. I never thought of cutting just half of it off.
I'm Harry, playing Tock, a 6'8" imposing automaton. And my fact is, the taxonomic status of automatons is still a point of debate amongst the more scholarly gnomes of Ovik. The constructionists are for a new taxonomic category entirely, claiming that automatons are sentient machines. The Inosculari argue that 2 separate branches on the tree of life have been grafted together, referring to the 2 living ingredients used in the ritual that creates them.
Oh my God. Every single week, there's words I don't understand in your intro.
Of course.
Which book did you get this from?
Wikipedia.
Which middling TV series did you rip that from?
Someone's been watching Billions.
That's so weird. Billions was the one in my head as well. I was absolutely going to say that. That is.
I think it was the Damien Lewis.
Yeah, it must be. Well, phenomenal, as always. Just
much like Life with Damien Lewis, I haven't heard of Billions until it's referenced on this podcast.
Brilliant. Okay, moving on.
Why do I always follow Tock, by the way?
All right.
No, I'm in. I mean, I just
so you can steal facts from people's intro.
If you're saying you're not up to it, just say it. That's fine. Just put it on record.
Okay, delete everything. I want nothing. I want, in no sense, to sound like I'm not up to Tock. Hi, I'm Charlie. I play Vander Finnick, and this week's fact is about the automatons. It turns out Vander, unbeknownst to the crew, actually can play all of the instruments that the automatons play, but he never does. It's important to him that the automatons play them, and he's taken a great deal of time to teach them the instruments. It's all to do with the fact that he wants them to appear and feels himself that they have sentience. As to why he wants that, that's a question for another fun fact.
Wow.
Nice.
That was really good.
That was me sparring off Tock's fact.
Yeah.
when you said your fact was about the automatons, I thought you were about to say there are 2 schools of thought.
Oh, I should have gone. There are 3 schools of thought.
Oh,
2 incorrect ones.
And Vander's one. Lovely. Oh, well, you guys have had 3 amazing facts. Hey, new guy. How you doing?
Make the new kids stand up in class.
Oh, here we go. Hi, I'm Scott, and I play Bardol Schultz. Bardol's first fun fact is that he firmly believes in the theory of multiple planes, existence and parallel universes. This is due to the fact that occasionally throughout his life, starting when he was 13, he began receiving memories from other versions of himself. Occasionally he realizes, but often he doesn't, and he will spout those facts out as if they are facts of his own that he has taken place in his own memories. And the main reason for him wanting to become an adventurer was because he once received a memory from a version of himself, which he thinks as the one Bardol, the chosen of the Stormfather. And he hopes that if he continues on his road as an adventurer, he will one day become the Bardol of his memory.
Well, holy shit.
Awesome.
He's absolutely crushed the lot of you. First time out.
That opens us up to two possibilities. Either that's all true, or Bardol's nuts.
It also opens up the possibility that recruitment is the most important part of building a team. And essentially what the DM's done here is picked 4 dimwits. If he picked better staff to start with, the facts would have been amazing.
Oh my God, that was genuinely awesome. Yeah, fantastic work. And for the first time ever, we are 4 for 4 with 1 left to bat. Step up.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I'm playing Augustus. And Augustus has realised something. We often talk about how Benny's scar has passed unremarked. However, as the days post Augustus's incredible hangover have rolled by, his memories have coagulated into something you might call a solid mass. And within that, he has remembered that every time he drunkenly asked about Benny's scar, Tock instantly jumped in and deflected it, saying that it wasn't important, leading Augustus to conclude the following. Tock knows how Benny got his scar, and therefore Tock knew Benny before this adventure began.
Oh my God, someone please tell me immediately whether there's any truth to this. Can we just go straight in game? Because I will Vander over.
I can neither confirm nor deny the suppositions here within. But that was an amazing fact. 5 for 5, perfect round. Congratulations, everyone.
Oh, I'm even past facts, though.
Come on.
I'm even in this.
Oh, lovely stuff. Let's get going with the latest chapter of Dice Company. In last week's adventure, you guys witnessed not only the rebirth of Tick, but the solemn oath of Augustus, before finally meeting the man you've heard about for weeks, Bardol Schultz. He was being chased by a group of bounders led by a captain and supported by a shadowy figure with face tattoos. Having defeated your enemies, you captured the captain, tied him up in the lower decks of the Sterling after a spirited discussion about whether to kill him or not. Bardol, a champion pit fighter, beloved by the people of Slateholme, has come to you with a plan to stick 2 fingers up at the Empire while potentially making some money. He intends to break into the deepest vault of the Topaz Keep to recover the blueprints of the Steamrunner before they can be handed over to the Tamrace Foundation. It is the 11th of Gladden and there are 8 days until the summer solstice. After a night's rest, the 5 of you gather in the galley for some food. You are joined by Lenny the dog, Tick, Nozzle and Otis, while Rosalind serves you the last of the food supplies you have on board, a delicious fried breakfast with a strong emphasis on Quetzalcoatlus meat. Plex enters the room with a feather duster in hand and begins dusting. What would you like to do?
I think Bardol would immediately like to thank Rosalind for the meal that she's created and for all of the time that she spent with him the last evening and helping him and stuff. Because while the boys all, after they went to sleep, they hung around, they chatted in the galley. She made him some lovely soup and he'll be very happy.
It's tough to tell if Tortles blush, but if they could, she is.
Augustus enters the mess hall, dressed as a bounder captain, and says, "Gentlemen, I would like to apologise. I realise that the quest suggested to us by Bardol is something that you all wish to participate in, and I do not wish to stop you. And indeed, my friend Vander here has persuaded me that it would be a blow against the Empire, and therefore one we need to strike. And a team like that needs a leader, a captain, and I would like to be that captain. which is why I'm dressed as a captain. Captain.
My God, it's good news, Mustang. As I brashly smack Vander on the back. It's excellent to see you, Augustus, dressed so horrifically, I may say, but it serves you well. And yes, we would be glad to have you lead us, eh, boys?
Vander praises Augustus.
He does rather look the part, doesn't he? A captain. Yes.
Augustus winks at Vander, and Vander doesn't pass out.
Swoon.
Vander may or may not wink back. We, as we established previously, don't know.
So there's a wink and a blink.
I've been having a couple of thoughts myself, and while I don't think that's a bad plan at all by any means, Augustus, my thinking was maybe what we need isn't a captain. Maybe what we need is that captain in there. How would it be if he staggered in to Slateholm and announced that there's about to be a daring raid from a gang of criminals led by Bardol Schultz on said Bounders station?
He could perform the role in his pants.
Thing is, Vander,
Or Rosalind's nightie.
I've been doing a bit of studying in my room, as you know. I've been away from you for a little while, and well, thing is, we don't actually need him.
Alive.
It wouldn't actually be him. It'd be me, but at the same time.
You don't look anything like that dog, Benny. What are you talking about?
Well, this is the thing. What I've discovered is I can make myself look like him.
That is not usually a gift of our kind, Benny. You've been holding out on me. What do you know?
Vander leans in, intrigued.
Just been reading a few things, Vander. Reading a few things and trying a few things out and experimenting on a few things.
Head in the books. Quite right, quite right.
This is something I've discovered I can do. You know, that's just my thought, was that there's going to be a raid on Bounders Station at a certain time and date. Then all the bounds in the city are going to go there, leaving the Topaz Keep as good as unguarded.
Perhaps we can combine the two plans. We could have Benny distract the guards and call them away, whilst we reinforce the Topaz Keep with a detachment of guards led by our captain, thereby swinging the odds in our favour. What say you, Captain, my captain?
Vander turns back to Augustus.
Fine plan, says Augustus, who you get the sense that he wasn't really listening, but, you know, that's an officer. He doesn't listen to his men. But good, well done. Bring me a cigar.
Excellent. Will we be making use of the other uniforms then? One would assume we will.
Absolutely. Although we now may be lacking people to fill them. If you'll forgive me, Vander, do you fit the description of the average bounder?
Vander, you may fit the bill of a shadow vanguard.
Oh my.
What an interesting idea. I'll give that some consideration. Plex!
Vander turns.
Yine Wander.
Plex, Vander says again.
Yine Wander.
My God.
What's up with your droid? Doesn't look right.
I have to say, this is a development.
Niam conversario golgodornin anaged the full language on the lost.
Vander pauses, then turns very slowly round and looks in Tock's direction.
Is Plex speaking Gnomish?
He is. Everyone who can speak Gnomish understands what he just said, which is I'm speaking in my default language of Gnomish. He follows it with Gerd setting in Heisen reset ani ama functionario lent maximus capabilitarium danken a Tock.
Well, the operative word in that particular sentence was Tock.
Vander turns, one eye fixed, steely on Tock.
I believe you are incorrect, Vander. The operative word was reset.
I suggest you put Plex back to his original form immediately.
He is in his original form. It is his mind that has been altered.
I understand that the semantics of conversations can elude you, Tock, but let me assure you, terrible, terrible misunderstandings and indeed events will occur to you and those you love if Plex is not returned to the state he was in a number of days ago.
I will find that acceptable. Tock will walk over to Plex, pop open his cranial plate in the galley, and start making adjustments.
Cool. Give me a Tinker's Tools check, please.
While this is going on, Bardol is just going off to the side, just moving away momentarily. He's become a bit confused about what's happening here. One minute we were talking about a heist, and now there's some kind of a vengeance thing going on. And just going to kind of move back, pour a little tin out and offer a cheroot to Rosalind, and we're just going to sit and smoke together and watch like a couple of old Lills. And just wait to see what unfolds, you know?
Oh, thank you very much, Bardol.
Okay, 11.
While this is going on, Vander has removed his heavy flintlock from his cloak and placed it across his knees.
Tock closes the faceplate.
And he'll close the faceplate and he'll test by informing Plex. Plex, may you speak in common?
Wine, Tock.
Tock will turn to Vander and say, this may take some time.
I can speak in common.
We have found success.
Plex.
Yine, Wander.
Plex, can you speak in common if you choose?
Yine, Wander.
Vander looks extremely disappointed and turns back to Tock.
Tock, I understand that we have pressing matters, but please also understand that you have exactly 48 hours before I blow Tick's brains out and remove the elements you stole from Plex to make my automaton whole again. Am I completely clear?
No, Vander, you are not. There are no elements that have been removed from Plex.
It matters not to me.
He is correct. No parts have been removed from me.
What has happened to you, Plex?
I like the welcome, Yine, Wander. I can change it if you wish.
You are speaking in tongues because you enjoy it?
Yine, Wander.
This will take some further consideration.
Vander stows the heavy flintlock.
Tock, never touch Plex or any of the automatons again. Otherwise, I assure you, immediate violence will befall your person.
Vander, don't threaten Tock.
Benny, stay out of it.
No, Vander, we're meant to be a team here. You don't get to talk to people like that.
Vander turns on Benny.
He just tinkered with the brains of one of my good friends. What is this to do with you?
And he will fix it.
So you're on his side. You think it was reasonable to do?
You told him he could use the automaton. Look, he hadn't done it on purpose. I understand you're upset. You don't get to get threatened to kill his maker. That's all I'm saying.
Of course. I'm now adding Lenny to my list. This conversation is closed.
Augustus smiles at that.
Vander, if you do not wish for me to touch Plex or any of the other automatons, I may not repair them. Repairing requires physical contact.
You may touch him purely to repair him, and then the rule stands. Are we clear?
I find that to be acceptable. Let's just hope they don't fall off the airship or anything.
Yeah. Vander looks absolutely furious, but just about holding himself together.
I believe I have a costume change.
And he strides as far as it's possible for Vander to stride from the room.
Even after he's gone, Tock's going to turn to Augustus and say, Augustus, if we are to assume the identity of the Bounder captain, we must know the identity of the Bounder captain.
Yeah, I'll go and have a chat with him.
Yes, that talk would be a joke for Benny. I will be assuming the identity of a Bounder captain. I will not be pretending to be the Bounder captain we have imprisoned, because other Bounders in Slateholme may well know him. So instead, I will have to pretend to be a newly arrived Bounder captain.
Yeah, so on my bit of the subterfuge, I'm not going to pass for him as normal. He's going to have to be very badly injured, you know, just about able to gasp out a few words. Otherwise, I think they're going to see through me. So my thinking is gasp out a few words to let them know about raid, and then have a bit of a collapse. Get myself taken to infirmary, and should be fairly easy to get out from there.
Do we feel we need to have a conversation with the captain to find out any tasty bits about his life?
Well, I'd like to hear his accent and just get a bit of his mannerisms, but I don't plan to be very chatty when I'm pretending to be him, so I don't think I need to know where he's from or anything.
Well, perhaps while we change, Benny, you may want to sit down and have a conversation with him.
Sounds good.
His name is Hugo Steppenwolf, and he's a down and dirty cockney.
That's not good. Thanks for that.
Vander appears back in the galley wearing a cloak that covers most of his face, so you can only just discern the mask. The glass cane is probably the most obvious thing.
Bardol comes in his outfit, looking rather uncomfortable in the kind of stiffened buttons of it all. But he has the bladed club at his thing. But he takes his 2 swords and he just leaves them on the table in the galley and nods to Rosalind and then walks away, just swearing.
Fine weaponry.
Well, thank you. They are flashy, though, and I fear they will not pass as a bounder's weapon, so here they will remain.
Quite understand.
Rosalind will keep a good eye of them here, I trust.
That's the first person who's been nice to Rosalind. Hope you all feel absolutely ashamed of yourselves.
Tock literally brought her food.
Oh, shut up.
I frequently compliment her on her cooking.
You do.
Who's Rosalind?
Benny's a sweetheart.
Gotta love a turtle.
You guys follow the now familiar path from the Sterling into Slateholme, with the midday sun beating down on the baking cobblestone streets. Benny, you are heading towards the 9th District Vander station,
Certainly am.
and the rest of you are heading towards the Topaz Keep.
Yes, marching in a sort of captain first, then 2 bounders. No, sorry, then bounder and shadow. Actually, would a shadow vanguard go at the front?
I would imagine so. Well, I would imagine so.
Yeah, shadow vanguard at the front, captain and bounder, and then automatons marching along in lockstep, I'm sure.
Bardol has the hat pulled as low as possible, hair pushed up, and looking tremendously un-Schultzian at the moment, so we're okay.
The captain is also wearing a piece of material across his face, as if to kind of shelter from bad weather, because, let's face it, Augustus made a bit of a scene last time he was here.
There is an atmosphere of joy and celebration in the streets, and the early signs of bunting and celebratory wood carvings are being placed around ahead of the summer solstice.
Augustus, I was wondering if I might have a word.
Was Vander here?
Yes.
But Vander strides over to one of the balustrades and looks down on the marketplace and the festivities being prepared for, gazes out.
It's a beautiful city in its way.
Yes. Quite eye-catching, I thought.
Augustus sighs and leans against the balustrade, looks across the crowd, and says, "What these people need is some hope."
A fascinating insight, Augustus.
Vander smiles.
What's on your mind, Vander?
Well, Augustus, I've been thinking. Your oath was most interesting, yet you do seem conflicted.
Yes, I understand my broad goal, but I must admit the immediate actions that I must take still feel as far from me as ever.
Yes, it may surprise you to know that I am no stranger to crises.
It does not surprise me, Vander.
Vander looks genuinely quizzical at that.
Certainly, the past you describe is one of unimaginable torment, and a deeper crisis is hard to imagine.
Did I ever tell you about the time I wished for death?
Was it during one of your conversations with Tock?
Vander chuckles, uncharacteristically for him, but carries on.
Slightly more acute than that, my friend. You see, in the dungeons where I was held, I confess I lost all hope. For a time I wished for death, but knew at the same time that death would not be afforded to me. I spent many hours in the dark and the gloom, with only my next session to look forward to. And I confess I lost myself in that nightmare. But one night, a hand reached out to me through the bars. I couldn't see its owner, but it gripped mine, and something in that connection changed my experience of my life. I realized then that one thing you can't kill is hope. Not hope for the life you've had, maybe, but hope for something, a new life, whatever that may bring. That hand had a signet ring, I remember, a heron. I don't know the owner of the hand, he never spoke. I'd already seen many of my closest friends tortured beyond endurance. But that hand gave me something, and I wonder if maybe you need such a gesture now. Would I be right?
I admit the path before me remains unclear, despite my moment of clarity in giving my oath. So perhaps there is some similarity in that a guiding hand would be of use to me.
Have you considered the merits of chaos? Nothing too showy, just a steady drip, drip, drip of a word here, a gesture there, and a rebellion in the end.
My fear that under the order of the Empire, the ordinary people suffer, and in the chaos that might replace it, once again, the ordinary people suffer. However, if we give sufficient thought to that, then I see great merit, great appeal.
I suggest we begin sowing the seeds of rebellion. We can't plan everything, but we can guide the hand of the people. It will take time, and we'll have to start small.
I agree, Vander. Do you imagine would at least initially remain hidden from the Empire? We need, presumably, to grow our venture beyond the four of us.
I believe that we should start in the shadows, as it were. Do you know what they call a group of herons?
I confess I do not.
A siege, Vander says, with a grim delight.
Almost unwillingly, a smile spreads across Augustus's face.
Ah, the joys of common purpose, says Vander, and turns, extending a gnarled hand.
Augustus shakes it.
There's something different in the handshake that Augustus would find very distinctive.
Augustus reciprocates it.
Vander smiles with all three of his teeth, and then his one eye turns back to the crowd. A heist remains to be done, my friend.
Augustus takes a deep breath, swallowing his misgivings once again, and follows Vander.
Benny, you make your way to the 9th District Bounders Station. As you approach, there are a couple of bounders who are just milling around outside, smoking cigarettes. They seem very calm and relaxed.
I slip into a nearby alleyway, pull out some papers from inside my robe and just quickly scan them again, just to kind of remind myself. And then I mutter a few words and twist the ring on my finger, and I transform into Captain Hugo Steppenwolf, who has a very large wound on his stomach, which is kind of soaked, appears to be absolutely soaked in blood. Hugo is very pale and sweating and appears close to death. I step out of the alleyway and kind of drag myself towards the two bounders and shout, "Here, men! Here!"
They spin quickly and drop their cigarettes at the sight of you and begin running over.
"You know me, yes? Steppenwolf, Captain Steppenwolf."
Yes, Captain. Yes, Captain.
Listen very carefully. Schultz is coming. He's raising an army. They're in a steam runner man's in. Get every bounder in town and take him.
Yeah, yes, Captain. You need help.
Lads. I'm done. I'm going to the temple. That's where I want to spend my last hours. Do this for me.
Give me a persuasion check at advantage.
Could it be deception?
Yeah, deception. Yep. Your call. Anything or performance, to be honest.
20.
Okay. They look shocked at your what appear to be some of your final words, but there is a knowing. Obviously, the captain wants to spend his last days at the temple. This is a disaster. This is a tragedy, and they salute you both, and then turn around and charge into the Bounder station, screaming about an impending attack.
I slip back into the alley and disappear.
Well, the pooch remains unscrewed for the moment.
They have a bit of a Disney film there where you, absolutely, where you can't change back.
Very nice.
Yeah,
one.
that's great.
The rest of you approach the Topaz Keep and are immediately enveloped in an aura of opulence and grandeur. Its entrance, the majestic gateway, is a breathtaking testament to Gnomish-inspired architecture. Towering minarets adorned with intricate geometric patterns reach for the heavens, their tips adorned with glimmering faceted topaz gems that catch the sunlight. Massive arched doorways embellished with delicate mosaic tilework and rich blues and golds beckon you inside.
I'm looking for any sign of security.
Okay. Perception?
20.
There are no signs of any guards on the Topaz Keep. It's a really unusual display to have such an ornate and impressive building, but with no obvious guards in and around the outside.
I'm going to keep making a beeline directly towards our goal.
Mustang, I'm beginning to get a bad feeling here.
I feel the same. We're committed, though.
you begin to hear footsteps echoing, running in your direction. In the distance from within the Topaz Keep, you can see 3 or 4 bounders beginning to turn the corner.
I walk. I'm going to continue striding as far as Vander can.
How do they look?
They look panicked. Bardol Schultz is gonna attack. He's gonna attack the station. All hands to deck. They stop suddenly when they look on Vander in his Emperor from Star Wars outfit.
As they do that, Tock and Dick are going to flank him on each, behind each shoulder.
And Bardol is going to make himself as discreet as possible. I'm the lowest rank amongst everybody here, so I'm going to appear that way. Back off.
It's a Shadow Vanguard, is it? Yeah. Sorry, sir. There's a pit fighter. His name's Bardol Schultz. He's a troublemaker and a rabble-rouser.
Silence. You are to be reinforced. This is Captain Baderhoff. He has no friends. Follow his orders, or you'll find out why.
Captain comes forwards and says, "Soldiers, return to the Vander station immediately."
Yes, Captain. Will you be joining us? And their eyes are constantly flicking towards Vander and the 2 automatons, and they don't seem comfortable in the current situation they're in.
I've begun walking past them.
The captain repeats, "Return to the Vander station immediately."
Yes, sir. They begin to run off away from you guys.
I continue making a beeline to our quarry.
I had an identity, you bastard. I don't want to be Captain Baderhoff.
Oh, sorry, what was your identity?
No, you have to find it out in another quest.
I'm sorry, was I? I will try to guess correctly next time.
They've gone, Al. They've gone. You be you on the next one, buddy. You do it.
Actually, that's true.
Next people we meet are going to be like, "This is Shadow Vanguard PP Lafritz."
I'll play PP Lafritz.
I'll play the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Following on from where the bounders came from, you enter through the huge double doors and are met with the cool air and the echoing sound of your own footsteps with the high ceilings above you. Bardol, you are able to give instructions on how to work your way through the labyrinthine entrance until you reach the doors marked as vaults.
Hey, told you, didn't I? They always told me when I was a sailor, you have excellent sense of direction, Bardol. You know? Always remember a way. Been there once, know how to get there. Anyway, here we are. Bolts.
Excellent.
Yeah, so you've got the 2 wooden double doors in front of you.
Vander turns to Tock.
Tock, in your bag of seemingly endless tricks, do you have anything that might assist us in locating Benny?
Negative.
Oh, wow, I really am flummoxed. I assume that.
If I just to help you guys along, these don't look like big, locked doors. They're just 2 doors.
You said vault. I thought this was...
It was labelled vaults, but it's just double doors.
Augustus tries the door handle.
It opens.
Yay! Roll credits.
We continue through the doors.
Augustus, you open
Mislabeled vaults.
the double doors and enter. Before you is the welcoming foyer. It's jarringly small. Rough carpeted floors sit at odds with the marble everywhere outside. And before you is a long desk behind which sit 3 tellers, 2 gnomes and a human. There are 2 queues of people in front of you. Even from a cursory glance, you can tell they're immaculately dressed and exude an air of wealth and sophistication.
Lucky we're so into books, isn't it?
There is a large ornate door behind where the tellers currently are.
Well, here goes nothing.
What security's in the room?
Currently, none.
You're welcome.
I walk directly towards the door.
Oh, Mustang. We need Benny with us, do we not? He's our man for getting into the vault.
Can hold here.
I think we bet.
I mean, one thing we can do there is just join the queue, right? There's a queue for the
Yep, there are 2 queues.
counter. Absurdly, we're going to be the first D&D crew ever to join a queue.
Yeah, I don't feel like Shadow back on the queue.
We go up to the vault door and knock on it. Someone says, "Nope, go away." It's like, oh, shit.
Oh, please let me in.
Oh, not the grumpy guy again.
As you're stood waiting, a very unusual looking man from the queue turns around and gets a look of Augustus. He smiles. He's got kind of oddly, almost shale grey skin, almost obsidian-coloured black hair. He's dressed immaculately in a burgundy three-piece suit. And he steps out of the queue and directly towards you, Augustus. If you don't mind me saying so, the fit of your uniform is not at all flattering.
Do mind you saying so?
Oh, well, I was merely going to offer my services. There's no need to be so caustic. My name is Lander. I have a shop opposite Batistutas on the Sapphire Promenade. If you'd like to come in, I would be happy to help one of the bounders of the town out with fitting. Free of charge, of course.
I thank you.
He eyes you up and down, and then he looks at the rest of you for a moment.
Bardol interjects and walks over and says, excuse me, is there a reason why you're bothering my captain? I think he told you to fuck off, didn't he? I think you should go and stand back in your queue. Thank you very much. Bounder business. Jog on.
Give me an intimidation check.
I'm going to reinforce that play by nodding.
20 then.
I meant no offence whatsoever. I will, of course, leave you. And his eyes quickly continue to flit between you all. And you catch what you think is almost a little smirk as he turns around and rejoins the queue.
Bardol turns to Augustus and says, I do believe we have just been made, gentlemen.
Augustus just kind of looks sort of stern and a bit rigid, but doesn't say anything, because I think the more we say here, the more they're going to kind of figure us out. I think we'd better hurry.
As you say that, Benny, you find your way to the vaults, where you find the rest of your crew are waiting in the foyer. So you are now all in the foyer. Stood before you are the two queues. Other than Alander, the others don't appear to have paid you much attention.
Can I do an insight check on Alander? I want to see if I can discern anything about him that might help us understand whether he is friend or foe.
You can certainly try, yeah?
20.
You find it very, very difficult to get any information out of him. It's almost suspicious in and of itself that Vander, who is an expert of reading human physical movements and tells and things like that, is getting 0 out of him.
Gentlemen, I am a fairly good judge of character, and I believe we need to move quickly.
Agreed, Mustang. Well, it's time. Now we are. Full complement. You take center stage, lead us through. Get us past this part, let us go.
Tock's little tablet thing will read on it to anybody who's going to watch. We could employ violence.
I think walking through the doors might do the trick. And Vander turns and walks towards the doors.
Vander, as you head towards it, the tellers kind of stop for a moment and look around at you. Can I have a performance check, please?
Tock will literally follow on his heels with Tick.
18.
I love the fact we haven't even asked for admission. We're just breaking in broad daylight.
The human teller, for a second, looks like he's about to ask you a question. But seeing Vander flanked by 2 armed automatons with a host of fairly high-ranking bounders and a normal bounder behind him, thinks better of it and just kind of gives you a little nod and then goes back to serving the person in front of him.
I turn to him.
You, with me.
Yes, of course. Where are we going?
Now.
And I point to a spot directly to my left.
Okay, Where is it you'd like to go?
Doxy Abelman's vault.
Of course. Yes.
Lead on.
Yes, and he takes out a large key, turns it in the lock, and pushes the huge double doors behind the counter open. If you would like to just follow me, I can take you to the lift, and the automaton will take you and your associates down to Doxy Abelman's vault. Of course.
I respond with a kind of silence that tells him that I've heard him, but I'm not responding.
So together, you guys walk through the incredibly impressive back area. There's like a huge mosaic on the floor that's depicting some kind of ancient battle, although the details of it are a little bit difficult to ascertain at this stage. And he takes you to a set of gold metal doors that you can see through, behind which stands an automaton stood next to a lever. He pulls out a key, unlocks it, opens the doors. If you would like to get in the lift, the automaton will take you down to her vault.
You will be joining us.
It's not normally policy for us to go into the vaults of people, especially not the mayor.
Your policy doesn't concern me.
Could Bardol assist? I was actually going to say, You fucking heard him. Grab him by the back of the scruff and pull him towards the lift.
Yeah, I don't see this guy as any kind of a choice.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. And he steps into the lift first.
We step in behind him.
Vault number 1, please, Master Automaton. Doxy Abelman's vault. As you wish. As you guys step into the lift, Vander, Augustus, Bardol, and Tock, you notice a raven, unbelievably, is circling overhead in the huge cavernous area where you're currently stood, circling around in the sky. As the doors close, the lever is pulled, and you begin to descend.
It's been the most awkward lift ride.
You guys are so terrifying, by the way. You're absolutely terrifying. I'm worried for this teller.
We're all just crowded round him.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like
Four chests.
punched against,
at
yeah.
him.
Finally, with a subtle jolt, the lift comes to a halt and the doors creak open to reveal Mayor Doxy Abelman's private vault. This is the vault, sir.
Vander's hood turns in the direction of Tick.
Automaton, they with the lift ensure it goes nowhere.
The hood spins in the direction of Augustus.
Captain, lead on.
And Augustus strides out. Just as a quick sort of guide to what I see on a scale of like 0 to Scrooge McDuck, how loaded is this vault?
The vault itself, it has rows of weathered bookshelves stacked high with dusty tomes lining the walls. Ancient maps, faded and brittle, hang as relics of bygone eras. Now, before you are steps that lead into the first section of the vault, and you can see 4 gleaming automatons, 2 on each side, each equipped with halberds. They appear to show no signs of movement, and the lights of their eyes are dimmed.
Okay, that is absolutely terrifying. And also, the Scrooge McDuck-ometer is definitely staying.
You notice in Bardol's hands, which are just hanging by his side, mist begins to appear, and forming of those mists are his 2 swords, which he now clutches, one in each hand.
I've seen this story before, boys. Forgive me if I don't prepare myself. Carry on as you were.
Vander's head, by the way, just the hood, turns and looks down at these swords that appeared out of nowhere. Then the hood looks up in the direction of Bardol and then turns back to the front.
Directly in front of you, beyond the chamber you're currently in, is a large circular metal door with a spinning wheel in the centre. Is very obviously an actual vault.
Gentlemen, I suspect if we approach these automatons, they may be activated and they may defend the vault against us. I wonder, do we suppose the steamrunner plans will be behind that vault door, or given the apparent wealth and importance of this person, would such plans be a relatively low priority and may lie out here, and some greater riches might lie beyond the door?
Is that the evidence then, sir? These steamrunner plans you're talking about, is that the evidence we've been sent to collect?
Yes, that's the evidence we're here to collect.
Right. Gotcha.
This dirty Tamari scum will pay for this.
As you turn around, you can see that the teller kind of looks down awkwardly at the floor, but there's a little smile on his face. He obviously appreciated the insult thrown at the Tamrace Foundation.
You, teller.
Yes.
Do you know anything of this vault? Have you ever set foot here?
We are not permitted to enter the vaults of private citizens, especially not the mayor, but everything I've heard, this is where Mayor Doxy Abelman keeps all of her wealth and belongings, anything unique. As you can see on either side, there are original generation automatons. I believe they are deactivated at the moment.
She has stolen plans for a steamrunner. Where would they be?
They would likely be beyond the vault door. If I may, you don't like the Tamrace Foundation?
No, my good man. It sounds to me that you don't like them either. And now Augustus is gonna turn on the charm and charisma. I haven't done a charisma check in this campaign yet, and I've got oodles of charisma. Let me charisma him.
You can say from terrifying captain to Bertie Wooster in.
Please give me a persuasion check.
Oh, I want to do a charisma.
It is charisma.
Oh.
Also, I'm assuming they need to make a save for whiplash as well.
He falls lifeless to the ground.
He smiled. I liked it. 24. He is absolutely charmed. He might swoon. Someone stand next to him.
Tock is currently standing next to him, waiting to arrest him. So
The next time my small talk fails, I'm going to say, "Oh, I wanted to do a charisma."
So it is. I'm of the belief that the Tamray Foundation is the biggest scourge on Slate Home that I have ever seen. I think they are evil. I don't trust them, and I don't understand why the mayor appears to be dealing with them quite as much as she is. If I may, the vault is open, sir. The mayor is inside.
God damn it, Augustus. I know I like this boy. Bardol knocks the hat off his head, pulls his outfit off. Clammy, terrible shit this is.
Bardol Schultz.
Hello, young man. As you were.
You seem an astute young man. What's your name?
My name is Alex.
A fine name.
I've never really liked it.
Fuck you. No. Sorry. You bastards. This game just comes at you from all different angles. Alex, walk with me. We are going to open that vault. And I'm looking now for any sign of uncertainty in him as we go forward. Then I'm going to assume that he's genuine in what he's saying.
remember, he's never been down here before.
Yeah, but if he's trying to lead us into trouble, if he's deliberately trying to lead us into trouble, I want to know. And whether or not he's been here, he'll know if he's trying to walk us into a trap.
Give me an insight check.
This guy's getting a sword in the eye for being nervous, isn't he?
Yeah, I've been super charming, and now it's murder time. 11.
Okay, well, I mean, this guy's not like a superhero, so it's a DC 10. You're fine. This guy has seemed utterly terrified since you first met him, but having now spoken to you, he seems kind of buoyed. So there's an extra level of confidence as he walks alongside you straight towards the vault door.
Vander takes his hood off to reassure him.
You see a wobble.
Augustus vomits and falls to the ground. No. Augustus claps the young man on the shoulder and nods to him as we jointly I'm kind of imagining like one of those giant wheel things we turn on the door of the vault.
Yeah.
No more that if you're going to just boldly march past the automatons, Tock's going to flank you.
Yeah, Bardol is exactly the same mind.
Hang on. Whoa. Someone needs to stay with the automaton who's on the lift, please.
Oh, we could deactivate that automaton very simply.
Well, just let's leave Tick back there with that
I've already done that.
So Tock is looking at the other automatons to make sure they don't come alive and kill us.
In fact, he'll inspect them whilst Augustus is going for the door.
Great, yeah, can't go past an automaton without interfering with it.
Give me a investigation check.
In fact, if he can, he'll
Guide himself?
Yeah, yes, but no, I mean he'll deactivate check the cranial plate to deactivate it. Okay, that is a 28.
Tock, you go up to investigate. These are Generation 1 automatons. These are the oldest automatons that you've actually seen. You very quickly are able to remove their faceplates, get straight into their brain cores.
Which you smash.
They all have immaculate insides. Their brains are immaculate.
No.
And they're already deactivated.
And it's the similar one crystal being removed that we saw last time.
Correct.
Okay, in which case Tock will replace the faceplate, take out his bag of holding, and stuff one of the automatons into the bag of holding.
The rest of you watch as Tock pulls out his small bag, runs it over the top of one of the automatons, which just disappears.
And then he'll put that bag back in his pack without mentioning anything.
I believe you can squeeze 2 in there, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
Just about. Okay, if he can squeeze 2 in there, he'll get a second.
Okay.
And I believe the light of the last fan that thinks Tock is a sweetheart just blinked out.
While Tock is performing the most incredible close-up magic with a bag and 2 automatons, Augustus, flanked by Bardol and Benny, where are you?
Well, I'd say, hang on a sec, lads. What's the plan here? Are we just barging straight in?
Yes, Benny. Barge in, accost mayor, take plans, maybe log mayor back in vault. We'll see. We need to know why the mayor's in the vault.
Alex, is Mary on her own?
I believe she's here with her personal assistant. His name is Simmons, and he's a dick.
Let's kill Simmons.
First job, I reckon, is tying up young Alex here. I mean, Alex, I imagine you've worked out we are not a collection of bounders and a shadow vanguard because you're not an idiot.
I am shocked.
I am appalled.
Yeah. Alex, we're going to tie you up and chuck you in corner. We're not going to hurt you, but we don't want them thinking that you had any involvement in this because you seem like a nice lad. And,
I don't mind. I want them to know I was involved.
That's not a great idea, is it?
Fuck the Empire.
Yes, Alex. You. Come on, Benny. Give the boy a chance.
I actually think Benny is doing something really kind here, but Augustus is drunk on power, so he's just carrying on.
All right, you try and help. Carry on, do what you like.
If this is the path he is to take, it would be unsafe for him to remain.
Well, yeah, will be.
Yes, Alex, very quick aside. If you open this door as part of our group, you will never be able to stay in Slate Home. Do you understand, and do you consent to these terms?
He steps forward and begins to pull the door open.
Bardol hands Alex a bladed club.
As always, we're radicalizing everywhere we go.
He grabs the bladed club and he looks so uncomfortable and awkward holding it. It like dips down to the floor and he's kind of dragging it with both hands. This young lad has had zero training with weapons.
Do not try to kill anyone, young man. That is just for courage and nothing more. And to make you look even scarier than you do already, you're awesome, Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. It's a genuine pleasure to meet you.
I know.
This guy's going to be dead in 15 seconds.
Operation Mincemeat is a go.
Before we go into what may well be a fight, Tock will deactivate the automaton in the lift and bring Tick with us.
Okay.
I'm assuming the operation of the lift was not terribly complex.
Just seemed to be a lever, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
Tock is evil.
Okay. We smash another automaton. Is there any kids could we arm any children?
He's doing he's doing the thing where it can easily be reactivated, yeah.
So having killed one automaton and stolen two others, kidnapped two others, Alex pulls the heavy door open, and beyond it is a tiny little corridor with a singular door at the end of it, which is ajar. You can hear muffled voices coming from inside the final chamber ahead of you. The chamber ahead of you.
I wonder if it's the final chamber.
Fuck you.
Well, Augustus is going to have a wee listen just to see if there's anything useful I can discern before we proceed.
As you approach, you hear a female gnome's voice saying, Am I doing the right thing, Simmons? Yes, my lady. Yeah, but are you sure? Well, seems to be haven't been given much choice, my lady. Hand over the plans, get rich. Don't hand them over, face the might of the Empire attacking the city. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Not sure the people of Slateholme will see it like that. Perhaps. We really should get going. You have an appointment at Erlander's for a fitting, and then you need to welcome the Tamrace family to Slateholme. They're settling in the old Whitestone place on Sapphire Promenade. We need to visit the orphanage as well to congratulate them on another year of fine work. The work of a public servant is never done, is it, Simmons? No, my lady. Seems not.
Even Bardol feels bad right now.
Vander doesn't feel bad, but
Hang
he's
on.
very quick. Oh, go on then.
Before you all kill everyone, Augustus turns back to them and mutters, Gentlemen, there may be a diplomatic solution here. Allow me to attempt it before you cast Mind Spike on everyone. Not pointing the finger at anyone in particular. Augustus is now going to take charge of this situation because it seems there's no other alternative. He removes as much of the captain's uniform as he can without obviously just stripping off. He no longer wants to be in disguise. He strides down the corridor and into the doorway of the final chamber at the end.
Before you are two gnomes, the obvious Mayor Doxy Abelman and her assistant Simmons, both in very, very nice pinstripe suits. Behind them appears to be a golden altar. One compartment of the altar is open, and there is a pile of documents in there that she has been leafing through and has just placed back. They both spin suddenly. Oh, what are you doing here?
So in flawless gnomish, Mayor Abelman, I am Augustus Zeno. I hail from Denothlia. I am a sworn enemy of the Empire. I believe you operate under their heel, and I am here to offer you another way.
He looks at Simmons for a moment. I'm listening.
My friends are behind me in the corridor.
Is that Bardol Schultz?
And Bardol Schultz.
You see a little wrinkle on her nose.
Bardol looks back, holding her stare, and is only holding his tongue for the respect that he has gained for Augustus in the last few days and is allowing him to take his lead. Bardol is furious at the moment and is holding himself back from just storming in and taking the plans for his gnomish friend.
Okay, and Augustus, before you begin to speak, Vander, your perception allows you to see Alex has lifted his club and his body is shaping like he's about to run in.
I'm going to cast Kinetic Hand and push him backwards.
I love the fact that it's a different name for the spell each time.
We all thought Mind Spike, didn't we?
100%. I would have bet all my money on Mind Spike.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. Oh.
What's the one where invisible fire kills everyone?
The reason I've gone Kinetic Hand is because that's a cantrip. Mind Spike would actually cost me a spell slot.
So young Alex lifts the bladed club, takes half a step in the direction of the final antechamber. Vander casually raises a hand with a little tug. Alex kind of gets dragged back, his feet sliding on the floor.
As he comes back to join me, I'm going to lean into his ear and say, "Not Vanguard, but yes, some shadow."
He looks utterly petrified. Augustus.
Mayor Abelman, the rising tide of the Empire's power has reached its peak, and today it turns. And it turns here, far from the Empire's capital, from the center of its power. It might seem far-fetched, but we believe we are the people to begin that turn of the tide. And with your help, we will begin by refusing the Tam Race Foundation its chance to take the plans for the Steam Runner and begin to break the Empire's power in Slateholme and watch as its power crumbles. And that disintegration runs all the way to the Empire's heart in Lunadyne.
Give me a persuasion check.
You're going to tell me that's part of charisma, right? Yeah.
Give me a charisma.
23.
I have listened to your kind words. They fill me with a sense of rebellion I did not think it was possible for me to have. But I need you to understand something, Augustus. The Empire holds all the cards. If I don't hand over the Steam Runner plans, they will undoubtedly kill me and my family and anyone associated with me. I am not a fighter. What am I to do in a situation like that?
When someone else holds all the cards, you change the game. We are here, and no power of the Empire can reach inside the walls of Slateholme. We believe, from everything we've seen, there's little love for the Empire here, and their power is an illusion, a card trick, held together by the collective fear of the Empire and little more. With your help, you can demonstrate to the people, to the gnomes here, that that power is indeed weak and false, and your survival will show others that they too can resist the Empire and remain unscathed.
What would you say if I were to tell you that if I don't do what they tell me to do, that they will launch an all-out assault on this city? Will you be there to protect us? Will you be standing alongside me as I offer my life up to the Empire?
Bardol steps forward and says, I will defend this city. Not for you, Mayor, but for the people of this town. For the gnome, we will stand. I like to see them come.
Well, you have to excuse me, Mr. Schultz, but I hardly think an actor is best placed to fight against the Empire.
Damn! He raises his sword to her.
How predictable. Some of us don't have the luxury of anger. Some of us have to do what we can with what we have.
Mayor Abelman, we will not abandon you. However, I accept your argument that bringing a full-scale attack upon your city could be disastrous. So perhaps we can leave this place with the plans for the Steam Runner, having robbed you, and we may construct a story to explain how that happened and that you gave a brave resistance to us. And indeed, our entry here can hardly have gone unnoticed.
Perhaps the mayor should give her life for her friends and her family. As I step closer with the sword raised at the mayor. After all, if she was too much of a coward to give it for the people that she was elected to protect, then perhaps she will give it to protect her family and friends.
Augustus raises a hand over his shoulder and gestures towards Vander, sort of hoping that Vander here is going to intervene to prevent it.
That's what this situation needs, a torturer.
As he mentions that, Tock is going to try and whisper to Vander, since he's standing right next to him.
Oh my god, give me a stealth check immediately.
Cover your ears! Cover your ears, everyone! This is going to be so loud!
Okay, Tock's going to try and whisper to Vander. That nearly was awesome. Okay, he rolls a 12.
So just a dull roar then.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to say it's almost a whisper. Almost a whisper. Not quite, but almost.
There may be a compromise position. The plans may be given to the Emperor, but the true plans taken by us. False plans may be made. Deception.
Vander nods and begins to shuffle in the direction of the group. As he does so, he's going to cast message on Alex, so words appear in Alex's head. In a sibilant hiss, Alex hears,
The first whisperings of rebellion, Alex. You'll spread the word, won't you?
and the sibilant hiss dies out.
To those looking at Alex, you can see that Alex stands up a little straighter and looks a little bit more confident.
If I may offer an alternative, he says, with one of his very disingenuous genuflex.
It may be possible to alter the plans so that we take the correct plans and the Empire take plans which ultimately produce broken metal and no transport. This saves lives and, of course, keeps the very precious information in the hands of the gnomes.
Is anyone else thinking this is how the British rail system came about?
Except we got the false plans?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been on the false plans.
Vander, give me a persuasion check at advantage because it's becoming like almost a team persuasion at the moment.
25.
Is that a natural 20?
That is a natural 20.
I mean, we're all trying to persuade her of different things. She's highly persuadable, apparently.
It's just so suggestible.
Frankly, Charlie's just become the monorail salesman from The Simpsons.
Monorail!
I've done the dance, and here we are.
Ogdenville.
Yeah, I'm just at that point where I'm just shaking my hat at the end of the tune.
If only we'd brought the automatons to serenade you.
For the first time, you see doubt in her eyes, and she kind of looks over at Simmons, who gives a little shrug. That is a good plan. We could make that work. Who are you?
My name is Vander Finnick, at your service.
Another bow.
If you don't mind me saying so, you are an unusual group.
It may have been said, though we are a talented group.
I think I can make this plan work. And she turns around and reaches in to the vault and pulls out some blueprints. She kind of holds it in one hand and smacks it into her other hand. Take them.
And his gnarled hand shoots out, and the plans disappear in the folds of his robes.
So even his disguise robes have lots of pockets.
Oh, yeah. And the doll, the talking doll, which disappeared in there many episodes ago. Presumably she's reading them.
Mustang. Bardol turns to Vander. He holds his hand out. Remember your agreement. Plan.
I nod.
Of course. You understand that to get the plans, though, we will have to avoid bloodshed in the vault. I assume that meets with your approval.
As long as you put the plans in my hand, Mustang, you shall have my approval.
Then it's a deal.
Vander places the plans in Bardol's hand and turns back to the mayor.
Your Eminence, it strikes me that you will shortly be in need of a great deal of help. Some, of course, will be from noble folk in Slateholme. Other deeds, though, may well take more finesse. Should you need that kind of help, then maybe we can be of service. And speaking of service, I believe we've just done you one. And look at us stood here in a vault, surrounded by valuables.
You have me at something of a disadvantage, Vander Finnick. You may take anything you find in this vault. Bardol Schultz.
Yes, my lady.
Should any of this come to light, I will of course pin all the blame on you. I insist that you leave the city immediately.
Well, I won't say you're hurting my feelings here, Mayor, but that feels like a win-win for everyone. Sends the name of Bardol Schultz further into the minds of everyone who will hear it. And I can carry on my adventuring ways, bringing my glory, my swords, and my damn right handsome face to everybody on this goddamn plane. So yes, why not? But before you go, I have 15 minutes. He's intimating that he'd like to knock boots with the mayor.
Yes.
yeah, that was very. I think even Tock got that.
Tock absolutely did not get that.
Just to be clear, were you in character there? Or...
That is a offer Bardol Schultz, allow me to respond with something I've always wanted to say to you. You are, without doubt, the worst human being I've ever had the misfortune of knowing.
I know.
Sticks and stones, Bardol.
Mayor Abelman, how... Oh, sorry. Mayor Abelman, how will you explain our very public entry to and presumably exit from your vault?
I'm the mayor. I will just pretend it didn't happen. And this young teller, you will back me up on that, will you not? Yes, Mayor. Yes, Alex says.
Bardol winks and gives a thumbs up to Alex.
Is there a back way out or anything, Alex?
The only way out is through the lift, but I can escort you all out.
Mayor, how do you propose to create the false plans?
I will have Gearhead make fake plans. She has proven herself adept at creating falsities in the past.
That would have been my suggestion as well, my liege.
As I'm easing my conscience of many things, there is one further piece of information which I overheard from the Shadow Vanguard known as Tiara. There is a small settlement in the Moon Shadow Mountains known as Haven. It would seem that another Shadow Vanguard by the name of Morrison has made it his life's work to destroy the inhabitants. Have you heard of Haven?
It may ring a bell.
It is in the path of the Steamrunner. It is going to be their connection to Royum Dion, and it is in the way. If you are as noble as you seem,
I am.
My suggestion would be that the people of Haven require your assistance. They are part of Ovik, and while I may only be the mayor of Slateholme, I consider them my people.
Did you say I am? Yeah, I was going to say, if you ever speak to anyone and in the middle of calling the noble, they go, I am, then they're not.
So Benny chips in and says, well, Mayor, we will be doing that. So thank you for that bit of information.
You are obviously accustomed to adventuring with one another. Do you have a name?
We don't, to be honest. We found that it's better not to have names, because names are things that people remember. That's been our experience so far, but I guess it's what we might need to think about.
I quite understand, Your Grace. You will need a name to call upon us, and we will furnish you with one just as soon as we've decided. One final question for you, though. This tailor, I'm interested to know more.
His name is Alander. He has the most magnificent grasp of haberdashering and dealing with all sorts of materials. I must admit, I know little about him other than he is charming and entertaining. I'm not even entirely sure where he's come from. I don't recognize his look.
I quite understand. Be advised that he may well have seen through our ruse de guerre upstairs.
Well, I have an appointment with him right now. I will speak to him. He owes me a favor. I will make sure that he stands in line.
Oh, thanks. Now, Tock. How much can fit in that bag of yours?
So, Dom, I'm assuming with 2 automatons in there, not an awful lot else.
Correct.
Yeah, Tock's also pretty strong and he's got a big rucksack, so...
Dom, while this is going on, Bardol realises that this is no place of his, so he turns now again to Dr. Abelman, offering her his arm and says, perhaps I may at least escort you to the elevator. I am not a complete stranger to sartorial elegance myself. Perhaps we can discuss it on the way?
Oh, good lord, you are relentless. Give me a persuasion check.
He does not know when he's beaten.
Never.
Gonna roll another 1 now, isn't he?
Gonna be right.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, wow, that's a 4.
I wouldn't be seen in public with you if we were the last 2 people left alive on all of Alestia. Don't ever talk to me again.
As she walks away, I say, that can be arranged, Mayor. That can be arranged.
Could somebody fix this automaton, please? I would like to leave the vault.
You might be better off keeping your head down anyway, Bardol, to be honest. Let's not forget that every bounder in city is going to realise that Bardol Schultz is not at the Steamrunner Man's Inn fairly soon, so I would quite like to be out of the city when that happens.
That seems like a fairly sensible idea. Fill our pockets then, gentlemen?
How does the gnome react to that? The mayor react to that, sorry.
She is currently just staring at the broken automaton and trying to avoid the gaze of Bardol Schultz.
I was going to say, the quite ungainly sight of this group now just pilfering.
I mean, Augustus is going to go and talk to the mayor and just make small talk with the mayor because he's definitely not going to indulge in the looting of the vault whose owner is standing right there.
You can just see Vander's feet. He's in a pile of money. It's a 4 on the Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
Let's do some looting.
Tock fills his looting boots.
All of you can add 250 gold each to your inventories. And the other things of note you find are a collection of books and a lot of parchments and scroll. But because you're trying to act quickly, you don't look at what they are. You just kind of fill up the bag until it's full.
Tock will fill his bag and then go and, when we're all ready, replace the crystal in the cranial plate of the lift automaton, thus allowing us to escape.
And everyone who came down in the lift, along with the mayor and Simmons, now all squeeze back into the lift to make it just a little bit more uncomfortable.
On the way down, we created the most awkward lift journey of all time. And on the way back up, we displaced that down to number 2.
Is it a time for more smelling salts?
Yes,
Or if there's-
did someone drop a vial of piss to break the tension?
Or maybe there's an enraged raven that's going to be waiting for us at the other end.
Bardol turns suddenly to Simmons and says, "You know, I once grappled and won a wrestling match against a Mirrorlith. Of course, she was furious, but she had the most beautiful eyes this old fool's ever seen. Brief conversation about misunderstandings later, and we found ourselves in an entirely different embrace.
You're very close to my face.
Anyway,
Please don't talk to me.
well,
You reach back to the top of the Topaz Keep. The golden door slides back and you're all able to kind of spill out. Alex says, I think it might be an idea if we let the mayor and Simmons leave first, and then I will escort the rest of you out, and I will make it seem as official as possible to draw no attention.
Agreed, Alex.
Simmons, we have an appointment at Alanda's, I believe. Gentlemen, it has been an experience. The mayor kind of gives you a nod, and along with Simmons, they begin to leave.
Just as they do, I'm looking up at the raven and wondering if there's any kind of check I can do around that to see if I can ascertain what that's about.
Mind spike.
I mind spike the raven. No.
Can you give me a perception check?
8.
It's a very attractive raven. It's in good condition.
I question my weird attraction to the raven, but say nothing. A rather worrying development.
Gentlemen, if you'd like to accompany me, I will take you out of the vault. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
indeed.
Okay, and he begins to lead you out. He gets you to the large double doors, opens them up. You know the way out from here, I take it?
Indeed. Steel trap, Alex.
It has been a genuine pleasure meeting each of you, and he gives Vander a bit of a side eye, as if he's a little bit worried about him. Good luck with everything, and thank you. You've made me very happy.
You're a good man, Alex.
As Benny passes, he shakes his hand and says, Alex, remember, don't do out stupid. Look after yourself. Good luck.
Thank you.
As Vander passes him, he taps him on the, or puts his hand lightly on his shoulder and says, "Remember our talk?"
I will.
Excellent.
And he closes the doors behind you, and you guys are now in the kind of main entranceway to the Topaz Keep.
I have a suggestion. We should not pass by the Founders Station. I suggest we descend the cliff by Slinker's orphanage.
I love that idea, Tock. Yes.
You head out of the Topaz Keep, and you begin to head in a southerly direction towards the slope. And you are able to navigate it fairly simply. You find yourself in the back garden area of Slinker's orphanage, and it isn't long before you're in the slips.
I suggest that we change out of the, well, you guys all change out of the Bounder uniforms and whatnot.
Agreed.
Well, there's lots of little alleyways and nooks in which you can kind of like. The slips is a particularly nasty area, you know.
That's fine. Well, let's change out of the Bounder stuff, but continue to look like a badass kind of group striding along.
So are we just walk along, just like peeling bits off and just throwing them as we go?
They might be useful later on for another.
Yeah, let's quickly stow our stuff and move onwards.
Yeah, I return my stuff once I've taken it off.
Could we find that the Raven's maybe about 50 feet ahead?
Completely unrelated to the Raven that's circling overhead and is 50 feet ahead of you. Benny, you get this weird sense, right? Strange sense that the Bounder's starting to rush in through the main gate. They've obviously now discovered that Bardol is not at this Steamrunner man's inn.
Oh, fuck, Knuckles. Why do we come this way?
Got this hunch that the Bounds are making their way back into the city, so we might do well just to make ourselves quiet and tucked away in a corner for a bit while they get back to where they need to go, because I think they're flooding back in through at main gate at the moment, and it might be good not to bump into them.
As you're all standing, talking to each other, Bardol turns and says, "Gentlemen, I think this is where we make our goodbyes." And he just tips his hand and backs and turns and walks through the first door that he sees and just closes it behind him.
Anyone else hoping for that to be a closet? Vander says as he turns to the rest of the group.
You hear a furious clucking of chickens and he bursts out again. Farewell, Bardol. Real quick goodbye. Don't like a long goodbye. Gentlemen, I don't think anyone has any particular reason to be seeking us, so let us just find a tea house, tuck ourselves away.
As we make our way, I'm going to hobble past the door, which I assume Bardol is just stood behind, and say,
I hope our paths do cross again, Mr. Schultz.
As you walk past the door, it opens ever so slightly and you see Bardol, and he holds out his hand, and in his hand is a small stone with a small rune carved into the top, which is like a hammer with a lightning bolt and a ray of sunshine, which he drops into your hand, winks and closes the door.
I look at the stone, immediately understanding what it is, throw it up in the air very slightly to catch it again as I stir it in my pocket, and carry on my walk behind the others whilst thinking,
a true showman to the end.
Vander, please add Bardol Schultz sending stone to your inventory.
amazing.
So you guys, you slip into a Batilda Snapshots tea house.
Vander orders some Napier's Singer tea. He turns to the group and says,
Oh, well, tea, it's really just soup by another name.
And we'll end it there.
You've been listening to Dice Company's Small Embers, starring Dave Windust as Petren Oakflower, Alex Morrison as Seeksorrow, Charlie Blackadder as Vander Finnick, and Harry King as Tock, Scott Parker as the greatest swordsman who has ever lived, Bardol Schultz, with Tom Patrick as your dungeon master.
Chuck, just before you go, since you don't speak Gnomish, ignore the message I just sent you.
Okay, roger that.
That's the most D&D thing anyone's ever said. Since you don't speak Gnomish, ignore the message.
Hey, I've learned after long-suffering experience. Roger that, Hazmat. Yeah, that's a right, is it?
It'll get you there in the end.
Yeah.
It's 29 insight.
Yeah, so talk to me about that roll. What just happened?
That was an insight from Ilanda, who was just trying to get the measure of you guys.
And how's it?
Jesus, he's got her inside leg there, hasn't he?
Oh, wow.
Hell of a tailor.
It's gone weird.
Is that possible?
Did I? Hang on, there we go. No, it's okay.
Oh my god, I was like, how did you roll a 0 on a d20? The world ends.
The great serpent Jormungandr appears and yeah.
Can we come back later to the great serpent Jormungandr?
Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our Linktree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.